Genesis Chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and desolate, and there was darkness upon the surface of the watery deep, and God's active force was moving about over the surface of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." Then there was light. After that, God saw that the light was good, and God began to divide the light from the darkness. God called the light day, but the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, a first day. Then God said, "Let there be an expanse between the waters, and let there be a division between the waters and the waters." Then God went on to make the expanse, and divided the waters beneath the expanse from the waters above the expanse. And it was so. God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening, and there was morning, a second day. Then God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be collected together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, but the collecting of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth cause grass to sprout, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees according to their kinds, yielding fruit along with seed on the earth." And it was so. And the earth began to produce grass, seed-bearing plants, and trees yielding fruit along with seed, according to their kinds. Then God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, a third day. Then God said, "Let there be luminaries in the expanse of the heavens, to make a division between the day and the night, and they will serve as signs for seasons and for days and years. They will serve as luminaries in the expanse of the heavens to shine upon the earth." And it was so. And God went on to make the two great luminaries, the greater luminary for dominating the day, and the lesser luminary for dominating the night, and also the stars. Thus God put them in the expanse of the heavens to shine upon the earth, and to dominate by day and by night, and to make a division between the light and the darkness. Then God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, a fourth day. Then God said, "Let the waters swarm with living creatures, and let flying creatures fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens." And God created the great sea creatures, and all living creatures that move and swarm in the waters according to their kinds, and every winged flying creature according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. With that God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful, and become many, and fill the waters of the sea, and let the flying creatures become many in the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, a fifth day. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, domestic animals and creeping animals and wild animals of the earth according to their kinds." And it was so. And God went on to make the wild animals of the earth according to their kinds, and the domestic animals according to their kinds, and all the creeping animals of the ground according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have in subjection the fish of the sea, and the flying creatures of the heavens, and the domestic animals, and all the earth, and every creeping animal that is moving on the earth." And God went on to create the man in his image. In God's image he created him. Male and female he created them. Further, God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful, and become many. Fill the earth and subdue it, and have in subjection the fish of the sea, and the flying creatures of the heavens, and every living creature that is moving on the earth. Then God said, Here I have given to you every seed-bearing plant that is on the entire earth, and every tree with seed-bearing fruit. Let them serve as food for you. And to every wild animal of the earth, and to every flying creature of the heavens, and to everything moving on the earth in which there is life, I have given all green vegetation for food. And it was so. After that, God saw everything he had made, and look, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, a sixth day. Chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth and everything in them were completed. And by the seventh day God had completed the work that he had been doing, and he began to rest on the seventh day from all his work that he had been doing. And God went on to bless the seventh day, and to declare it sacred, for on it God has been resting from all the work that he has created, all that he purposed to make. This is a history of the heavens and the earth in the time they were created, in the day that Jehovah God made earth and heaven. No bush of the field was yet on the earth, and no vegetation of the field had begun sprouting, because Jehovah God had not made it rain on the earth, and there was no man to cultivate the ground. But a mist would go up from the earth, and it watered the entire surface of the ground. And Jehovah God went on to form the man out of dust from the ground, and to blow into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living person. Further, Jehovah God planted a garden in Eden toward the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Thus Jehovah God made to grow out of the ground every tree that was pleasing to look at and good for food, and also the tree of life in the middle of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and bad. Now there was a river flowing out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided into 4 rivers. The name of the first is Pishon. It is the one encircling the entire land of Havilah, where there is gold. The gold of that land is good. Bdellium gum and onyx stone are also there. The name of the second river is Gihon. It is the one encircling the entire land of Cush. The name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is the one going to the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. Jehovah God took the man and settled him in the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and to take care of it. Jehovah God also gave this command to the man: From every tree of the garden you may eat to satisfaction. But as for the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, you must not eat from it, for in the day you eat from it, you will certainly die. Then Jehovah God said, It is not good for the man to continue to be alone. I am going to make a helper for him, as a complement of him. Now Jehovah God had been forming from the ground every wild animal of the field, and every flying creature of the heavens, and he began bringing them to the man, to see what he would call each one. And whatever the man would call each living creature, that became its name. So the man named all the domestic animals, and the flying creatures of the heavens, and every wild animal of the field. But for man there was no helper as a complement of him. So Jehovah God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs, and then closed up the flesh over its place. And Jehovah God built the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman, and he brought her to the man. Then the man said,
This is at last bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one will be called woman, because from man she was taken.
That is why a man will leave his father and his mother, and he will stick to his wife, and they will become one flesh. And both of them continued to be naked, the man and his wife, yet they were not ashamed. Chapter 3. Now the serpent was the most cautious of all the wild animals of the field that Jehovah God had made. So it said to the woman,
Did God really say that you must not eat from every tree of the garden?
At this the woman said to the serpent,
We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but God has said about the fruit of the tree that is in the middle of the garden, You must not eat from it. No, you must not touch it. Otherwise you will die.
At this the serpent said to the woman,
You certainly will not die, for God knows that in the very day you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and bad.
Consequently, the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was something desirable to the eyes. Yes, the tree was pleasing to look at. So she began taking of its fruit and eating it. Afterward she also gave some to her husband when he was with her, and he began eating it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made loin coverings for themselves. Later they heard the voice of Jehovah God as he was walking in the garden about the breezy part of the day. And the man and his wife hid from the face of Jehovah God among the trees of the garden. And Jehovah God kept calling to the man and saying to him, Where are you? Finally he said,
I heard your voice in the garden, but I was afraid because I was naked. So I hid myself.
At that he said, Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree from which I commanded you not to eat? The man said,
The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, so I ate.
Jehovah God then said to the woman, What is this you have done? The woman replied,
The serpent deceived me, so I ate.
Then Jehovah God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are the cursed one out of all the domestic animals, and out of all the wild animals of the field. On your belly you will go, and you will eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will crush your head, and you will strike him in the heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly increase the pain of your pregnancy. In pain you will give birth to children, and your longing will be for your husband, and he will dominate you. And to Adam he said, Because you listened to your wife's voice, and ate from the tree concerning which I gave you this command, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground on your account. In pain you will eat its produce all the days of your life. It will grow thorns and thistles for you, and you must eat the vegetation of the field. In the sweat of your face you will eat bread, until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return. After this, Adam named his wife Eve, because she was to become the mother of everyone living. And Jehovah God made long garments from skins for Adam and for his wife, to clothe them. Jehovah God then said, Here the man has become like one of us, in knowing good and bad. Now in order that he may not put his hand out and take fruit also from the tree of life, and eat and live forever. With that, Jehovah God expelled him from the Garden of Eden, to cultivate the ground from which he had been taken. So he drove the man out, and he posted at the east of the Garden of Eden the cherubs, and the flaming blade of a sword that was turning continuously to guard the way to the tree of life. Chapter 4. Now Adam had sexual relations with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant. When she gave birth to Cain, she said,
I have produced a male child with the help of Jehovah.
Later she again gave birth to his brother Abel. Abel became a shepherd of the flock, but Cain became a cultivator of the ground. After some time, Cain brought some fruits of the land as an offering to Jehovah. But Abel brought some firstlings of his flock, including their fat. While Jehovah looked with favor on Abel and on his offering, he did not look with any favor on Cain and on his offering. So Cain grew hot with anger and was dejected. Then Jehovah said to Cain, Why are you so angry and dejected? If you turn to doing good, will you not be restored to favor? But if you do not turn to doing good, sin is crouching at the door, and its craving is to dominate you. But will you get the mastery over it? After that, Cain said to his brother Abel,
Let us go over into the field.
So while they were in the field, Cain assaulted his brother Abel and killed him. Later on, Jehovah said to Cain, Where is your brother Abel? And he said,
I do not know. Am I my brother's guardian?
At this he said, What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. And now you are cursed in banishment from the ground, that has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you cultivate the ground, it will not give you back its produce. You will become a wanderer and a fugitive in the earth. At this Cain said to Jehovah,
The punishment for my error is too great to bear. Today you are driving me from the land, and I will be hidden from your face. And I will become a wanderer and a fugitive on the earth, and anyone who finds me will certainly kill me.
So Jehovah said to him, For that reason, anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times. So Jehovah set up a sign for Cain, in order that no one finding him would strike him. Then Cain went away from before Jehovah, and took up residence in the land of exile, to the east of Eden. Afterward, Cain had sexual relations with his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. Then he engaged in building a city, and named the city after his son Enoch. Later, Irad was born to Enoch. And Irad became father to Mehujael, and Mehujael became father to Methushael, and Methushael became father to Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives for himself. The name of the first was Adah, and the name of the second was Zillah. Adah gave birth to Jabal. He was the founder of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the founder of all those who play the harp and the pipe. Also Zillah gave birth to Tubal-Cain, who forged every sort of tool of copper and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Then Lamech composed these words for his wives Adah and Zillah.
Hear my voice, you wives of Lamech. Give ear to my saying. A man I have killed for wounding me, yes, a young man for striking me. If 7 times Cain is to be avenged, then Lamech 77 times.
Adam again had sexual relations with his wife, and she gave birth to a son. She named him Seth, because, as she said,
God has appointed for me another offspring in place of Abel, because Cain killed him.
There was also born to Seth a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began calling on the name of Jehovah. Chapter 5. This is the book of Adam's history. In the day that God created Adam, he made him in the likeness of God. Male and female he created them. On the day they were created, he blessed them and named them man. Adam lived for 130 years, and then became father to a son in his likeness, in his image, and he named him Seth. After becoming father to Seth, Adam lived for 800 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Adam's life amounted to 930 years, and then he died. Seth lived for 105 years, and then became father to Enosh. After becoming father to Enosh, Seth lived for 807 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Seth amounted to 912 years, and then he died. Enosh lived for 90 years, and then became father to Kenan. After becoming father to Kenan, Enosh lived for 815 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Enosh amounted to 905 years, and then he died. Kenan lived for 70 years, and then became father to Mahalalel. After becoming father to Mahalalel, Kenan lived for 840 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Kenan amounted to 910 years, and then he died. Mahalalel lived for 65 years, and then became father to Jared. After becoming father to Jared, Mahalalel lived for 830 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Mahalalel amounted to 895 years, and then he died. Jared lived for 162 years, and then became father to Enoch. After becoming father to Enoch, Jared lived for 800 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Jared amounted to 962 years, and then he died. Enoch lived for 65 years, and then became father to Methuselah. After becoming father to Methuselah, Enoch continued to walk with the true God for 300 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Enoch amounted to 365 years. Enoch kept walking with the true God. Then he was no more, for God took him. Methuselah lived for 187 years, and then became father to Lamech. After becoming father to Lamech, Methuselah lived for 782 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Methuselah amounted to 969 years, and then he died. Lamech lived for 182 years, and then became father to a son. He named him Noah, saying,
"This one will bring us comfort from our labor and from the painful toil of our hands because of the ground that Jehovah has cursed."
After becoming father to Noah, Lamech lived for 595 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech amounted to 777 years, and then he died. After Noah reached 500 years of age, he became father to Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Chapter 6. Now when men started to grow in number on the surface of the ground, and daughters were born to them, the sons of the true God began to notice that the daughters of men were beautiful. So they began taking as wives all whom they chose. Then Jehovah said, "My spirit will not tolerate man indefinitely, because he is only flesh. Accordingly, his days will amount to 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and afterward. During that time the sons of the true God continued to have relations with the daughters of men, and these bore sons to them. They were the mighty ones of old times, the men of fame. Consequently, Jehovah saw that man's wickedness was great on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only bad all the time. Jehovah regretted that he had made men on the earth, and his heart was saddened. So Jehovah said, I am going to wipe men whom I have created off the surface of the ground, man together with domestic animals, creeping animals, and flying creatures of the heavens, for I regret that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Jehovah. This is the history of Noah. Noah was a righteous man. He proved himself faultless among his contemporaries. Noah walked with the true God. In time, Noah became father to 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But the earth had become ruined in the sight of the true God, and the earth was filled with violence. Yes, God looked upon the earth, and it was ruined. All flesh had ruined its way on the earth. After that, God said to Noah, I have decided to put an end to all flesh, because the earth is full of violence on account of them. So I am bringing them to ruin together with the earth. Make for yourself an ark from resinous wood. You will make compartments in the ark, and cover it with tar inside and outside. This is how you will make it. The ark should be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. You will make a window for light for the ark, 1 cubit from the top. You should put the entrance of the ark in its side, and make it with a lower deck, a second deck, and a third deck. As for me, I am going to bring floodwaters upon the earth, to destroy from under the heavens all flesh that has the breath of life. Everything on the earth will perish. And I am establishing my covenant with you, and you must go into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you, and bring into the ark 2 of every sort of living creature, in order to preserve them alive with you, a male and a female. Of the flying creatures according to their kinds, the domestic animals according to their kinds, and all creeping animals of the ground according to their kinds. 2 of each will go in there to you to preserve them alive. For your part, you are to collect and take with you every kind of food to eat, to serve as food for you and for the animals. And Noah did according to all that God had commanded him. He did just so. Chapter 7. After that Jehovah said to Noah, Go into the ark, you and all your household, because you are the one I have found to be righteous before me among this generation. You must take with you every kind of clean animal by 7s, the male and its mate, and of every animal that is not clean, just 2, the male and its mate. Also of the flying creatures of the sky by 7s, male and female, to preserve their offspring alive over all the earth. For in just 7 days I will make it rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the surface of the ground every living thing that I have made. Then Noah did everything that Jehovah had commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came upon the earth. So Noah, along with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives, went into the ark ahead of the flood waters. Of every clean animal, and of every animal that is not clean, and of the flying creatures, and of everything that moves on the ground, they went inside the ark to Noah by 2s, male and female, just as God had commanded Noah. And 7 days later, the flood waters came upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day all the springs of the vast watery deep burst open, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened, and the rain poured down on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On that very day, Noah went into the ark along with his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and his wife, and the 3 wives of his sons. They went in with every wild animal according to its kind, and every domestic animal according to its kind, and every creeping animal of the earth according to its kind, and every flying creature according to its kind, every bird, every winged creature. They kept going to Noah inside the ark, 2 by 2, of every sort of flesh that has the breath of life. So they went in, male and female, of every sort of flesh, just as God had commanded him. After that, Jehovah shut the door behind him. The flooding continued for 40 days on the earth, and the waters kept increasing and began carrying the ark, and it was floating high above the earth. The waters became overwhelming and kept increasing greatly upon the earth, but the ark floated on the surface of the waters. The waters overwhelmed the earth so greatly that all the tall mountains under the whole heavens were covered. The waters rose up to 15 cubits above the mountains. So all living creatures that were moving on the earth perished. The flying creatures, the domestic animals, the wild animals, the swarming creatures, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostrils died. So he wiped every living thing from the surface of the earth, including man, animals, creeping animals, and the flying creatures of the sky. They were all wiped off the earth. Only Noah and those with him in the ark survived. And the waters continued overwhelming the earth for 150 days. Chapter 8. But God gave attention to Noah and to all the wild animals and domestic animals that were with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to blow over the earth, and the waters began to subside. The springs of the watery deep and the floodgates of the heavens were stopped up, so the rain from the heavens stopped falling. Then the waters began to recede progressively from the earth. By the end of 150 days, the waters had subsided. In the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, and the waters were steadily decreasing until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. So at the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window that he had made in the ark and sent out a raven. It continued flying outside and returning until the waters dried off the earth. Later he sent out a dove to see whether the waters had receded from the surface of the ground. The dove did not find any resting place to perch, so it returned to him into the ark, because the waters were still covering the surface of the whole earth. So he reached his hand out and brought it inside the ark. He waited 7 more days, and once again he sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove came to him toward evening, he saw that there was a freshly plucked olive leaf in its bill. So Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. He waited still another 7 days. Then he sent out the dove, but it did not return to him any more. Now in the 601st year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the waters had drained from the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was drying. In the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth had dried off. God now said to Noah, "Go out of the ark, you, your wife, your sons, and your sons' wives. Bring out with you all the living creatures of every sort of flesh, of the flying creatures, and of the animals, and of all the creeping animals of the earth, that they may multiply on the earth, and be fruitful, and become many on the earth." So Noah went out, together with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives. Every living creature, every creeping animal, and every flying creature, everything that moves on the earth, went out of the ark by families. Then Noah built an altar to Jehovah, and took some of all the clean animals and of all the clean flying creatures, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Jehovah began to smell a pleasing aroma. So Jehovah said in his heart, Never again will I curse the ground on man's account, for the inclination of the heart of man is bad from his youth up. And never again will I strike down every living thing as I have done. From now on, the earth will never cease to have seed sowing and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night. Chapter 9. God went on to bless Noah and his sons, and to say to them, Be fruitful, and become many, and fill the earth. A fear of you and a terror of you will continue upon every living creature of the earth, and upon every flying creature of the heavens, upon everything that moves on the ground, and upon all the fish of the sea. They are now given into your hand. Every moving animal that is alive may serve as food for you. Just as I gave you the green vegetation, I give them all to you. Only flesh with its life, its blood, you must not eat. Besides that, I will demand an accounting for your lifeblood. I will demand an accounting from every living creature, and from each man I will demand an accounting for the life of his brother. Anyone shedding man's blood, by man will his own blood be shed, for in God's image he made man. As for you, be fruitful, and become many, and increase abundantly on the earth, and multiply. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I am now establishing my covenant with you, and with your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the living creatures of the earth with you, all those that came out of the ark, every living creature of the earth. Yes, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all flesh be destroyed by the waters of a flood, and never again will a flood bring the earth to ruin. And God added, This is the sign of the covenant that I am making between me and you, and every living creature that is with you, for all future generations. I put my rainbow in the cloud, and it will serve as a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring a cloud over the earth, then the rainbow will certainly appear in the cloud, and I will certainly remember my covenant that I made between me and you, and every living creature of every kind, and never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the rainbow will occur in the cloud, and I will certainly see it, and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of every kind on the earth. God repeated to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant that I establish between me and all flesh that is on the earth. Noah's sons who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham later became the father of Canaan. These three were Noah's sons, and all the earth's population came from them and spread abroad. Now Noah started off as a farmer, and he planted a vineyard. When he drank of the wine, he became intoxicated, and he uncovered himself inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness, and he told his two brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took a garment, and put it upon both their shoulders, and walked in backward. Thus they covered their father's nakedness, while their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke up from his wine, and learned what his youngest son had done to him, he said,
Cursed be Canaan. Let him become the lowest slave to his brothers.
And he added,
Praised be Jehovah, the God of Shem, and let Canaan become a slave to him. Let God grant ample space to Japheth, and let him reside in the tents of Shem. Let Canaan become a slave to him also.
Noah continued to live for 350 years after the flood. So all the days of Noah amounted to 950 years, and he died. Chapter 10. This is the history of Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. From these the inhabitants of the islands spread into their lands, according to their languages and their families, and by their nations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Raamah, and Sabteka. The sons of Raamah were Sheba and Dedan. Cush became father to Nimrod. He was the first to become a mighty one on the earth. He became a mighty hunter in opposition to Jehovah. That is why there is a saying, just like Nimrod, a mighty hunter in opposition to Jehovah. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. From that land he went into Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, Calah, and Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah. This is the great city. Mizraim became father to Ludim, Anamim, Lahabim, Naphtuhim, Pathrusim, Casluhim, from whom the Philistines came, and Caphtorim. Canaan became father to Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, as well as the Jebusite, the Amorite, the Girgashite, the Hivite, the Arkite, the Sinite, the Arvadite, the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. Afterward, the families of the Canaanites were scattered. So the boundary of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as far as Gerar, near Gaza, as far as Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim, near Lasha. These were the sons of Ham, according to their families and their languages, by their lands and their nations. Children were also born to Shem, the forefather of all the sons of Eber, and the brother of Japheth, the oldest. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Az, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arpachshad became father to Shelah, and Shelah became father to Eber. 2 sons were born to Eber. The name of the one was Peleg, because in his lifetime the earth was divided. The name of his brother was Joktan. Joktan became father to Almodad, Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Diklah, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All of these were the sons of Joktan. Their place of dwelling extended from Misha as far as Sephar, the mountainous region of the east. These were the sons of Shem, according to their families and their languages, by their lands and their nations. These were the families of the sons of Noah, according to their family lines and by their nations. From these, the nations were spread abroad in the earth after the flood. Chapter 11. Now all the earth continued to be of one language and of one set of words. As they traveled eastward, they discovered a valley plain in the land of Shinar, and they began dwelling there. Then they said to one another,
"Come, let us make bricks and bake them with fire."
So they used bricks instead of stone, and bitumen as mortar. They now said,
"Come, let us build a city for ourselves, and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a celebrated name for ourselves, so that we will not be scattered over the entire face of the earth."
Then Jehovah went down to see the city and the tower that the sons of men had built. Jehovah then said, "Look, they are one people with one language, and this is what they have started to do. Now there is nothing that they may have in mind to do that will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down there and confuse their language, in order that they may not understand one another's language." So Jehovah scattered them from there over the entire face of the earth, and they gradually left off building the city. That is why it was named Babel, because there Jehovah confused the language of all the earth, and Jehovah scattered them from there over the entire face of the earth. This is the history of Shem. Shem was 100 years old when he became father to Arpachshad, 2 years after the flood. After becoming father to Arpachshad, Shem continued to live 500 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Arpachshad lived for 35 years, and then became father to Shelah. After becoming father to Shelah, Arpachshad continued to live 403 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Shelah lived for 30 years, and then became father to Eber. After becoming father to Eber, Shelah continued to live 403 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Eber lived for 34 years, and then became father to Peleg. After becoming father to Peleg, Eber continued to live 430 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Peleg lived for 30 years, and then became father to Reu. After becoming father to Reu, Peleg continued to live 209 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Reu lived for 32 years, and then became father to Serug. After becoming father to Serug, Reu continued to live 207 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Serug lived for 30 years, and then became father to Nahor. After becoming father to Nahor, Serug continued to live 200 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Nahor lived for 29 years, and then became father to Terah. After becoming father to Terah, Nahor continued to live 119 years, and he became father to sons and daughters. Terah lived for 70 years, after which he became father to Abram, Nahor, and Haran. This is the history of Terah. Terah became father to Abram, Nahor, and Haran became father to Lot. While his father Terah was still alive, Haran died in the land of his birth, in Ur of the Chaldeans. Abram and Nahor took wives for themselves. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was barren; she had no child. Terah then took Abram his son, and Lot his grandson, the son of Haran, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, the wife of Abram his son, and they went with him out of Ur of the Chaldeans to go to the land of Canaan. In time they came to Haran and began dwelling there. The days of Terah were 205 years. Then Terah died in Haran. Chapter 12. And Jehovah said to Abram, "Go out from your land, and away from your relatives, and from the house of your father, to the land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you will become a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse him who calls down evil on you. And all the families of the ground will certainly be blessed by means of you." So Abram went, just as Jehovah had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. Abram took his wife Sarai, and Lot the son of his brother, and all the goods that they had accumulated, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan. When they reached the land of Canaan, Abram traveled through the land as far as the site of Shechem, near the big trees of Moreh. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. Jehovah then appeared to Abram and said, "To your offspring I am going to give this land." So he built an altar there to Jehovah, who had appeared to him. Later he moved from there to the mountainous region east of Bethel, and pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. There he built an altar to Jehovah, and began to call on the name of Jehovah. Afterward, Abram broke camp and journeyed toward the Negeb, moving his camp from one place to another. Now a famine arose in the land, and Abram went down toward Egypt to reside there for a while, because the famine in the land was severe. As he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai,
"Please listen. I know what a beautiful woman you are. So when the Egyptians see you, they will surely say, 'This is his wife.' Then they will kill me, but keep you alive. Please say you are my sister, so that it may go well with me because of you, and my life will be spared."
As soon as Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians noticed that the woman was very beautiful, and the princes of Pharaoh also saw her, and they began praising her to Pharaoh, so that the woman was taken to the house of Pharaoh. He treated Abram well because of her, and he acquired sheep, cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. Then Jehovah struck Pharaoh and his household with severe plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh called Abram and said,
"What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say, 'She is my sister,' so that I was about to take her as my wife? Here is your wife. Take her and go."
So Pharaoh gave his men orders concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. Chapter 13. Abram then went up out of Egypt to the Negeb, he and his wife and all that he had, together with Lot. Abram was very rich in livestock, silver, and gold. He camped in one place after another, as he traveled from the Negeb to Bethel, until he arrived at the place where his tent had been, between Bethel and Ai, to the place where he had previously built an altar. There Abram called on the name of Jehovah. Now Lot, who was traveling with Abram, also owned sheep, cattle, and tents. So the land did not allow for all of them to stay in the same place. Their goods had become so many that they could no longer dwell together. As a result, a quarrel arose between the herders of Abram's livestock and the herders of Lot's livestock. At that time the Canaanites and the Perizzites were dwelling in the land. So Abram said to Lot,
"Please, there should be no quarreling between me and you, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brothers. Is not the whole land available to you? Please separate from me. If you go to the left, then I will go to the right, but if you go to the right, then I will go to the left."
So Lot raised his eyes and saw that the whole district of the Jordan was a well-watered region, before Jehovah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, like the garden of Jehovah, like the land of Egypt, as far as Zoar. Then Lot chose for himself the whole district of the Jordan, and Lot moved his camp to the east. So they separated from each other. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, but Lot lived among the cities of the district. Finally he set up his tent near Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked, gross sinners against Jehovah. Jehovah said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, "Raise your eyes, please, and look from the place where you are, to the north and south, east and west, because all the land that you see I will give to you and your offspring as a lasting possession. And I will make your offspring like the dust particles of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust particles of the earth, then your offspring could be counted. Get up, travel through the length and breadth of the land, for to you I am going to give it." So Abram continued to live in tents. Later he came and dwelled among the big trees of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and there he built an altar to Jehovah. Chapter 14. Now in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasah, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goyim, these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, Birsha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is, Zoar. All of these joined forces at the valley of Siddim, that is, the Salt Sea. They had served Kedorlaomer for 12 years, but they rebelled in the 13th year. So in the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings who were with him came and defeated the Rephaim in Ashtaroth-Karnaim, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Sheva Kiriathaim, and the Horites in their mountain of Seir, down to El-Paran, which is at the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En-Mishpat, that is, Kadesh, and conquered the whole territory of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites, who were dwelling in Hazazon Tamar. At this point, the king of Sodom went on the march, and also the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is, Zoar. And they drew up in battle formation against them in the valley of Siddim, against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goyim, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasah, 4 kings against the 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of bitumen pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah tried to escape, and fell into them, and those who remained fled to the mountainous region. Then the victors took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their food, and went on their way. They also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, who was dwelling in Sodom, as well as his goods, and they continued on their way. After that, a man who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew. He was then dwelling among the big trees of Mamre, the Amorite, the brother of Eshcol and Aner. These men were allies of Abram. Thus Abram heard that his relative had been taken captive. With that he mobilized his trained men, 318 servants born in his household, and went in pursuit up to Dan. During the night he divided his forces, and he and his servants attacked and defeated them. And he pursued them up to Hobah, which is north of Damascus. He recovered all the goods, and he also recovered Lot, his relative, his goods, the women, and the other people. After Abram returned from defeating Kedorlaomer and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet Abram at the valley of Sheva, that is, the valley of the king. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of the Most High God. Then he blessed him and said,
"Blessed be Abram by the Most High God, maker of heaven and earth, and praised be the Most High God who has handed your oppressors over to you."
And Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. After that the king of Sodom said to Abram,
"Give me the people, but take the goods for yourself."
But Abram said to the king of Sodom,
I raised my hand in an oath to Jehovah, the Most High God, maker of heaven and earth, that I will not take anything that is yours, from a thread to a sandal lace, so that you may not say, I made Abram rich. I will take nothing except what the young men have already eaten. As for the share of the men who went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their share.